So when we left things off last time, we have just finished the first half of the season, and we knew we were in the Copa Sudamericana first knockout round. We were also in the Colombian Cup still, and we could potentially win the league second phase if we did well enough. The question is, could we do it? Also, disclaimer, I have finished the season already. It's why the badge packs and the face packs are now in the game. I would not have done it otherwise. So now we are back and we've actually finished the season. We're in November. I could go to December, but I'm not going to do another season after this. So we're just going to go through the results we've had since we last met. And we drew our first two games of this phase. 3-3 against Once Cadiz after we blew a 2-goal lead. And 0-0 against Deportivo Pereira. It's good to actually see the badges now. But then we started to win matches. Envigado we beat by 1-0. We then beat Penarol by 2-1 away from home. We then won 6-1 against Independiente Medellin. And then 5-0 against Penarol to go through to the next round of the Copa Sudamericana after going through the second round. And then we beat Patriots Boyasa by 4-1 to win again in the league. We then won against Deportes Tolima in the cup by 2-0 in the first leg before we beat Millonarios by 3-1 at home. So I know we can beat everyone now. We then took on Deportivo Pasto and beat them by 1-0 before we took on Cota Real and beat them 2-1. We then hosted Nacional and beat them 1-0. So a team I generally thought would struggle against. We then took on Aguilas Todas and beat them 5-1 before we hosted Nacional and lost 3-1 in the cup after going down to 10 men and after making it 2-0. So we're out of the Copa Sudamericana, which is a bit disappointing. We then took on Alianza Petrolera and beat them 2-0. We then beat Deportes Tolima 4-2 in the cup before they beat us in the league by 0-0. Not ideal, but we can work with it. We then took on Junior and beat them 2-1 before we took on Deportivo Pereira and beat them by 0-0. Deportivo Pereira being a team we took on twice in the league phase, but we didn't beat them both times. We then took on Deportivo Cali and beat them 2-0 before we took on Bogota and lost 4-0 after going down to 10 men inside 10 minutes and having an injury, so that's not ideal. We then took on America de Cali and beat them 2-0 before we took on La Equidad and beat them by 3-1. So things are going well. We then beat Deportivo Cali and beat them in the second leg by 2-1 in the cup. So we're now in the Colombian Cup final. We then took on Independiente Santa Fe and beat them 3-0 before we took on Deportivo Cali in the league and beat them 3-0. We then took on Atlético Nacional and lost 1-0 in the league and drew 0-0 in the first leg of the Colombian Cup final. We then took on Boyasa Chico and beat them by 3-0. And then we were in the first phase semi-final. We knew we were good and we beat Bogota by 3-0 to get our season there up and running. We then took on Atlético Nacional twice. We drew 1-1 in the league before we beat them 4-1 in the cup second leg final. So we have won the Colombian Cup for the first time, a great achievement for our point of view. We then took on Independiente and beat them 5-1, then beat Bogota 4-1 in the next phase of the league, and then we took on Independiente Medellin and beat them 3-1, so 2 wins in a row against them, before we beat Atlético Nacional by 4-0 to absolutely demolish them. Surely this means we've won this group, right? Indeed we did. And we have got a cup final against Millonarios, who I am desperate to stop from winning the second phase league. So, could we do it? I'm going to go over both legs and show you individually what happened. Let's go to the first leg first. So we first went to their ground and we had the dream start 9 minutes in. We're 1-0 up after Cuccolini scored the opening goal. And I'm going to show you the score at the top because you're going to see it either way. They equalised because of his counter-attack and Valencia scoring this goal. But we didn't let that hold us back. It was wonderful, really. because just a few minutes later, we're back in front. And Reyes finds Cortez, he finds Alcantara, and Cuccolini scores again, 2-1. Second half comes around and we double our lead. And I genuinely was starting to believe at this point that we could do ourselves justice. We took advantage of some terrible defending and Cortez scores. I'm happy, but we'll make it 4-1 in the 71st, 72nd minute of the game. And it was this point I was starting to believe we could win the league phase. Diaz with the goal to make it 4-1. And we absolutely deserved this win. We were the better team by some distance. They had just 3 shots on target. We had 8. We had more goals than they had shots on target. We were just clinical when we needed to be. And the XG told the entire story. We had 3 times as many shots as they did. 3 times as many shots on target as they did. And really, if we blew this here, it would be an almighty bottle job, right? Well, speaking of that, 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in, Mineros and our grand in the second leg took the lead. McAllister with a finish, and I'm thinking, it's fine, we can recover, I don't know why too much. Then they make it 2-0 inside 6 minutes. I'm gonna be honest with you, when McAllister does that, I'm starting to panic a little bit. Especially when they get a third in the 27th minute of the game, and Ditta does this. It's 3-0 inside 27 minutes, and we can't score, so we go to penalties. We score our first penalty. McAllister scores his penalty to get his third goal of the tie. Then Kevin Cortez hits the post. And we don't recover. Sainz scores there. And Solano scores. We score the rest of our penalties. There's no question about it. Alvarez, our former player, scores his penalty to make it 3-2. Pera makes it 3-3 down the middle. Good penalty. They score again. Moreno scores. And we score our 5th penalty to make it 4-4. Unfortunately for us, they also score their penalty. The last one. And we lose in the cup final on penalties, having taken a 3-goal lead at home. And we blew it despite having more shots on goal and a better XG. Gonna be honest with you, I have no idea how I've blown this, but this will be the last time I'll be managing the Colombian leagues. Could not have wished for a worse way to end this series at all. It is embarrassing in every sense of the word for me. Especially when you realise, and in 54 games, we got 121 points and absolutely destroyed everyone. And Mineros, they only got 3rd place. Thankfully, because we got to the final, we are fine. But we destroyed this league again, and they only got 6th place. I was just happy we didn't play in the group stage this time. I kind of wish we had now, just because I wanted to avoid them at this point in time. I needed to avoid them going forward. However, we've lost, and we've absolutely been embarrassed again. It's not ideal. So let's look at our timeline. And, wow, we had 74 games this year. We've won 2 cups, so I can't complain. And, yeah, it is one of those things where nothing went right in that game. And other than that, we should be good. And also, I love the fact that I don't need to press anything. It just pauses at a certain point. But we did ourselves justice, so we did a really good job. It's just a shame that we just couldn't win at all, isn't it? At least I was able to convince my players to sign new contracts. Monsieur Cortez was really good. Got the highest average rating of a 7.53 in the Copa Libertadores, a 7.46 in the Copa Sudamericana, and a 7.34 average rating in the Colombian First Division. He also got 24 goals and 11 assists in the season. It was wonderful to say the least. Also, we have found a system with you, and this was the cup that we won. The Colombian Cup, or the Copa Colombia, so it was wonderful to be able to say we won a trophy this year. We only made 3 signings, and it's nice to know that no one really had a bad season. We just gave a load of appearances to a load of people. I definitely wasn't expecting to play them as much as I did, but we did. And they did quite a lot for us. I haven't got the name fixed with the Brazilian clubs, but I got the badges. But honestly, the name fix will come in the main game for me. But we made a load of transfers in and out. And Andres Alvarez, you know, the guy that we wanted to keep, but he refused to sign a contract and then signed for Mineros. He scored their penalty against me. So, yeah, Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? If I kept him, I would have been... We probably would have not had to worry so much. I genuinely would not have made a signing for the left-back position, but what can you do? Loans out. We've made a few loans out. The fact I've got some players... Some of these players still don't have faces, so I genuinely don't know what I could do for some of those players. Other players do have faces, so at least we've got that going for us. But season results, Colombian first phase, we got to the semi-final. Millonarios beat Independiente by 3-2. Second phase, we got to the final, loss on penalties after blowing a 3-goal lead. It's not ideal. Copa Libertadores, we were doing okay there. We just unfortunately didn't do ourselves justice. We almost got sacked by the board after we lost to Fluminense. Yes, that team, they're not a bad team at all. The board were very, very aggressive. It's like almost as if they're treating like we're PSG, and the fact we didn't win the Champions League means you're going to get sacked now. It felt like that, honestly. But the Copa Sudamericana, the red card in Nacional was not ideal, and we considered go to Luis Suarez, so it's not ideal really, is it? But quarter-final in our first venture into continental football is not bad. And the Colombian Cup, we won it, so we've got a trophy. It's not a disastrous season. The fact we got a trophy is great, and we know we can do more of it. So the 6-1 win was the biggest win. The match we remember the 4-0 win against Samantha, and that's a nice badge they've got, actually. But Bogota, we beat 3-0 for the goal of the season. Carrillo scored it. I genuinely do remember this goal. I think I remember this goal. Let's go check anyway. I'm curious. So, this is the goal we're supposed to be talking about here. And Carrillo does that. That's a nice finish. Is it goal of the season? Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? But it's still a nice goal. And we won 3-0 in this game anyway, so it's fine. The finances, we're actually doing a lot better now. To the point that we made more merchandise money than we did in everything else, which is kind of hilarious. We made 3.24 million in competition prize money. So we're no longer really bad in debt. We're just slightly in debt, which is better than nothing. And the fact we got all these players. The fact we got 2 players called Cortez and they're in the top 5 shirt sellers is kind of mad. But one of them being midfielder, one of them being a winger is great. We're making more money than ever before, and really, yes, the repetition's not changed, but really, we've won a cup. I think I can take pride in this. The fact that my goalkeeper plays 75 matches and only missed that one game told you just how many games we played this year. We played so many matches, it is ridiculous. 76 matches. This is also not all the players this is also from last year, some of these players, so that's awkward. I need to fix that and to go through the actual layer. But yes, look at this. 25 goals, 25 assists for Leonardo Cellini. It is the most goal involvements, and it's ridiculous how good he was this year. And he wasn't even our best player. So, we had a lot of matches this year. Accolades, last year we got the manager of the year. I'm not going to go through. I might actually go through and see what rewards we get. But we made a lot of different appearances. Yeah, it's just really good to see some of our players are doing really well. And we are able to produce more and more going forward. And Mauricio Cortez, was the player of the year. The young player of the year was Kevin Cortez. So there's Barbosa was the signing of the season. Carrillo got the goal of the season. Jonathan Agudelo got 36 goals in all competitions as a record. And Citolini got 25 assists in the entire year. He's proven to be an absolute gem of a signing. That has helped us that so much. And Agudelo got 12 Man of the Match awards. Citolini gains a 7.3 average rating. And Torres, who doesn't have a face, I don't know where his face is, but he got an average of 87 passes per 90. All his records being broken is nice. And I mean, the fact you played 75 matches, it'd be shocking if you didn't get at least 34 clean sheets. That's all I'm going to say in the matter. Also, Christian Noreno scored. He's the youngest ever player for us. At the age of 16 years and 102 days. He also scored the day before his birthday. So, we got that going for us. History in the making. Your hard work and effort paid off on and off the pitch. And such a feat didn't go unrewarded at our end of season award ceremony. You tried to sack me. I almost got sacked. Why would I trust you anymore? Honestly. And then the timeline comes through as well. But yes, I thought it was interesting. And the fact we had players named in the player of the year, team of the year was great. 3 of them to be exact in Torres, Barbosa, and Cortez, Mauricio Cortez. And Mauricio Cortez also named the player of the year, which is wonderful. And I've also decided to go to the USA for, merchandise for the preseason training camp, which is wonderful. If I was to continue to save, which I'm not going to, they would only ask me to get a mid-table finish, but reach the Copa Libertadores Group Stages, which, given no one's got sacked for not doing it, I'm a little scared to try. So there's that. And yes, we're doing ourselves justice. We've got a cup to our name. I think we can claim otherwise that we've done well. And it's good to say that we've got all this going, really, isn't it? And we've just proven ourselves to be really good. Really, really, really good. And actually, this is the team of the year. So here we are. So Barbosa and Savio were the two fullbacks of the season. Given that Savio didn't always play as fullback and actually plays a DM half the time, it shows how good he was. But yeah, everyone got a 7.0 average rating in the first team, which is really useful. And I'm just happy that we've got all that going for us. The sheer number of games we were playing this year is ridiculous, and it's kind of made me think this is too many games. Hopefully, when our next save pops up, which I'm hoping this will be coming out on Monday, and we can get the main save started on Tuesday, we'll be fine. I don't have kits for this team, but honestly, given I'm not going to be here after this season, I don't think I'm that concerned about the kits for this team. I'm really not. The fact we also have got another 97,000 social media followers, and we've actually got more fair weather fans, which is not ideal. I don't like these kind of fans who are just impatient for success. Just means more pressure for me, really. But there we go. We've done good things. I'm happy. I think we can call this save a success in terms of footballing achievements. What do you guys think? Because I am going to end this here. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. Are you excited for the full release of the FM23? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. What do you think of the save? Where do you think I'll be starting my Youth Academy Challenge save in the full release? And did you like this video? Did you enjoy this series as brief as it was? It was perfect for a beta save, 3 seasons in, see what we can do. I thought it was fun, even if we destroyed ourselves at the end of the season. But either way, I hope you like and share this video and that you subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a lot. But either way, until next time, goodbye and well, good night.